The Mississippi River is an invaluable revenue source for the city of New Orleans. It's important for the entire country, but it's very important to get money to help get this river dredged. So it fits into the new Water Resources Development Act. It's waiting for a vote in the U.S. House. Here with more on this vital piece of legislation for Louisiana and for the rest of the country are Congressman Steve Scalise, who we all know from Louisiana, and from Pennsylvania, Congressman Bill Shuster, who heads the committee in the House. First of all, the committee in the Senate has passed a version of this word of bill. Where is it in the House right now?
Well, we're working through the process, listening to stakeholders. That's why I'm here in Louisiana, to talk to the folks here in New Orleans and see what their thoughts are on dredging, on the Port of New Orleans, the Port of South Louisiana. Because as you said in your opening, Mississippi River is a valuable resource to the entire nation, and we've got to make sure we keep those lanes of commerce open, so it's very important.
And this is not just the Mississippi. This is rivers all over the country and levees and all kinds of water projects.
Well, absolutely. Floodplains, water projects, the ports, the harbors, the inland waterways. We deal with all of that in the Water Resources Development Act. And through the Senate, it's passed. Senator Vitter, who leads the Republican effort in the Senate, working with Senator Boxer, has passed something through the committee, and now the House is working through that process.
And so what are your plans for bringing Congressman Shuster down here?
Well, we already had a roundtable of people within the waterways industries. And of course, all throughout South Louisiana, our waterways are critical to moving commerce throughout the country and then exporting to other nations. But we're also going to be looking at some of our flood protection projects, some of our coastal restoration efforts. We're going to be going and looking. We've talked for years about trying to get flood protection to block storm surge from coming into Lake Pontchartrain out at the Wrigley's and Chef Pass. We're going to be looking at all of those types of projects and how it's not only important to flood protection here, but also to the nation.
And in Washington, around the country, earmarks has become a bad word, but part of this bill, in some people's opinion, is an earmark.
Well, if you look, word of bills in the past have, some of them have been passed before there was a ban on earmarks, some of them after the ban on earmarks. And at the end of the day, the problem with earmarks was that you had projects that literally had absolutely no debate being airdropped into bills. You had members of Congress giving contracts to friends, bridges to nowhere, and that's got to be eliminated. And that's part of what this, this whole ban and reformation, reforming the whole process is all about.
But dredging rivers and working on levees, that does not seem like it would qualify as an earmark.
Well, that's the debate we're going to have in Washington, and it's important, I think, that Congress keeps its congressional authority to authorize those projects, because you're right. What's good in the Mississippi River helps Pennsylvania, because my river system, the Ohio and the Mon River Valley, flows into the Mississippi. Commerce flows throughout the nation. It's important for trade. It's important to job creation. So we're going to have this debate, and we have to figure it out, because it's important these projects are authorized and they're completed.
And so what is the actual problem? I mean, because you guys authorize the Corps to do work. The Corps sometimes has different opinions on what should be done.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you look at the Constitution, really Congress is supposed to have the purse strings directing agencies to do their jobs, and that's where, is it an earmark to tell Congress, you've got to go and dredge the Mississippi River? I mean, I don't think many people would think that would be considered an earmark. The problems you had were you had members of Congress literally giving no-bid contracts to supporters of theirs. That was way over the line. In fact, in some cases illegal. People went to jail as they should have. So getting that process reformed is critical, but also getting a word of bill in place that allows Congress to dictate to the Corps of Engineers and other agencies how the tax dollars are supposed to be spent to actually help families to move commerce. That's what we're going to be debating.
And there seems to be a lot more cooperation amongst both parties on a bill like this than we have on fixing the economy, things like that. Why is it so divisive in Washington right now?
Well, you've got big divides. We just saw this with the budgets last week. House passed a budget, Senate passed a budget for the first time in 4 years.
Two
and they
totally
were
different ideas. Yeah.
Very different concepts. Ours balances in 10 years with no taxes. The Senate bill, over $1 trillion in new taxes, never balances. So you can see we're very far apart when it comes to some of the real big philosophical divides. But on a word of bill, usually that is one of those few areas where members of Congress can come together, because again, this deals with every state in the nation. It deals with creating jobs, moving commerce throughout the country. And so, look at dredging of the Mississippi River, for example. Republicans and Democrats come together realizing that's something that's important to the country.
But if y'all can come together on, say, a word of bill, why can't y'all come together on something as vital as fixing the budget?
Well, the Senate has taken 4 years to finally pass something, so we're going to go to conference and we'll try to come to an agreement. But it's very, very difficult, as Steve said, when the Senate raises taxes, never balances the budget. But the good news is the Senate has finally, after 4 years, passed the budget, and we'll see if we can't come to an agreement.
All right, but you guys are confident that you'll see something happen on the word of bill.
We're hopeful we can get a word of bill. Again, part of what we're doing today is going through and touring a lot of these areas, flood protection projects, coastal restoration, dredging of the Mississippi River, looking at how all this is important to creating jobs and getting commerce moving.
All right. Well, probably much better weather here than it is up in Pennsylvania.
Yes, it is.
You enjoyed the trip today.
Thank you.
Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.